Dear person, dear soul, I welcome you to my podcast series Conversations with the Universe. Since having a near-death experience, I have the gift of communicating with the subtle energies of the cosmos. This happens in a form of deep meditation, where I ask certain entities from the other world to communicate with me. As one of the first contacts from the other side, my old friend and teacher, a friend of the Indians, appeared to me. And it gives me great pleasure to bring these conversations to you in this way, as a supplement to the books. My dearest friend and teacher, you beam at me full of joy. It's always such a nice feeling to connect with you, so flooded with joy. That should be bottled. Bottles, so that one can drink you when one is sad or is upset again about the cruelty of people and the world. You just need to drink more of it and everything would be fine.
When you connect with the subtle world, this joy radiates everywhere, not just
quite.
Everywhere.
We are currently visiting a few areas where it's not so crowded.
But this is a part of the subtle world which is less luminous and conscious. I, of course, mean the conscious connection with the luminous areas.
I know. Now let's dive deeper, literally, into the next level with less light. Please, what do you have to report? How do we proceed? Where are we going?
We will now go further into the darker areas. Be ready and concentrate.
Yes, I will. Is there anything else to consider?
No.
Do I need to take any special precautions?
No, your strength is your protection.
And nobody can take that away from me,
Correct.
right? Okay then, please.
We are now going into the lower field of the three dim areas. It's very dark there. And you should also slowly start to feel the rigidity that prevails there.
Yes, it's cold and rigid again. My goodness, it feels like I'm going to freeze, become frozen.
A very interesting comparison. Indeed, the absence of light and love is perceived as cold, and everything that are essential energies and soul fragments is in an almost completely rigid state. Disconnected existence.
This disconnection is only a perceived disconnection. It's not actually, right?
Correct.
Okay, please continue. Who or what ends up in such an energetics?
When people lose all mobility of mind in their last life and the heart does not live, but only rigid, cold sensations. So begins the danger of the fragmentation of soul parts. Then come the described components which cause a part to split off. This means that this part feels very rigid and cold in the sense of loveless. And then it ends in this area.
I hold on. This area, like the other two, is not areas where souls generally land with their soul quality.
Yes.
But always only fragments of souls, right?
Correct.
This is more or less sort of like a hospital, where broken or split parts of the respective ill souls are housed, right? I think there's a kind of logic in the resonances. That when it happens that a soul carries such contaminated parts within itself, these have to dissonate to the other purer fields, meaning they have to split off and then have to look for a kind of resonance home. And this is then there.
Very nice that you name these distinctions so clearly over and over again.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's your talent.
This is also very, very important to me, because it ultimately leads to a better understanding of the bigger picture and above all, where the old belief patterns can finally be cleared up. They don't seem to be so wrong in principle, but the implementation...
Bye-bye.
The implementation is so wrong that it seems fundamentally wrong. Right? Okay. Then please continue describing.
This area is the lowest of the dimly lit areas. If we now go even deeper, into the even lower vibrating areas, then we will hardly feel or see anything anymore.
Subtitled by the Mart community. Well, it seems we're not quite there yet. I would have thought primarily that it can't go any deeper, to be honest.
Oh, God.
Then please let's stay where we are now. I'm starting to feel really cold again. It's uncanny. Unbelievable, this cold. I can't describe it. It feels like my third eye is cramping up. It almost hurts. And everything that I am in energy, suddenly it gets cold. Interesting.
Yes, that's the rigidity of this frequency range. Very rigid, very heavy.
Yes, my heart. It feels like my heart is getting heavier and heavier. God, that's crazy, intense. I feel cold and dark. The heart feels like stone, quite dark. There is only very little light left. Frinjana, it's not a nice place either.
When the rigid parts of the soul arrive in this area, so they are full of bitterness and hatred for being.
But I know many people who are very bitter. This quality is called. Then they also carry within them the possibility that something could split off from them.
No, not at all. The total quality of the soul is important. If one is permeated with this kind of feeling, it's naturally more dangerous, or let's say riskier. Due to a division, a part of the soul ends up in this area. But is it just a part of a very loving soul that also has this contamination? So there is no risk that this part of the soul will find itself in this area again. Could, because there are still many other components resonating in it.
Good. So in conclusion, is it actually only just a problem for those who are really permeated by this rigid, inflexible and hateful energy, right?
Yes, in the most parts at least.
Okay, I understood that. It is quite scary for me, I must tell you honestly. I am generally quite jumpy, but this level really has something creepy. I see the craziest shapes of soul fragments. It's indescribable, really. Not organically round, they're distorted, I would say. Distorted in the craziest shapes.
Yes, very well recognized, despite the darkness. Good, very good.
You are not doing well, friend Diana. You are not doing well at all, you know that, don't you?
Yes.
How is this? If a soul isn't doing well, does it eventually develop the impulse to change that? And from there comes the power to move, to change that condition. We generally deal with little power there, and then consequently with little consciousness, little awareness. How does this work here? How do these souls experience this state?
As they become more and more self-aware through the special activities in this area, is there a potential to free oneself from this area as well? What do you mean by state?
Activity.
Subtitles by the Mardoa community.
As far as I can see, nothing is moving at all. It's like it's frozen.
They are moving. But they move minimally, darling. But they are equipped with a fraction of consciousness. This consciousness means experience, memories. And these memories can lead to a transformation of the energy within them through processing and reflection.
Okay, but still they can ask for help, right?
Yes, of course, always.
Such a weak soul. Such a weak energy is still hurt.
Yes.
Oh, more likely by the white balls, right?
Yes, but also from
I
others.
can't imagine any angels coming here, can you?
Why not if they are called? Imagine you are in the consciousness of these rigid energies, and these suddenly feel the impulse to change this state for whatever reason. And maybe they reflected on different moments and made a decision based on this knowledge. then they want to change. And this transformation, as they remember, can be brought about, for example, by angels. So they might call angels too. And then, of course, they come into this area to fulfill the wish of this soul fragment.
You see, that's why I find it so important that we have this information. Hold on to this and pass it on. And you who hear this, internalize it, because you will be able to remember it in all states of being.
Yes.
Well, it's good that we leave this here now. Give people the tool at the same time in case something like this should happen. Remember that they could call the white orbs the angels and also masters and whatever else.
Yes, very well said, Sylvia.
I don't find any sadness in this area. It's just this incredibly unpleasant stiffness. Everything contracts and feels very terrible. I'm feeling quite sick, to be honest. This isn't a nice state either. It's like this area is numbing me, as if all the feelings are stiff, that I too become stiff in my thoughts. It's rather black here now. So there is a bit of light, but it's not dark blue anymore. Rather, it feels black in terms of color. And the souls have no light in themselves. They are like... Till next time, keep it up. Like grey black clouds. And yet they have shapes crazy. So, I can't think of any more questions about this. If it's up to me, dear friend, we don't need to stay in this area any longer. It's very uncomfortable. Do you have anything else you want to say something about this?
Subtitles by the Amart Or community. I would like to mention at the end that these lost soul fragments are still connected to their original souls. However, this connection is not felt. Of these fractions in the darker frequency range is even less than the actual soul. With this, I would like to point out, without going deeper into this issue, that the connection with the homeland soul, and thus also with the mother soul, and thus with the source, always exists.
Okay, then please let's move on from here soon. I can no longer speak. It's that hard, that stiff. Anything else?
No, my love.
Then please let's go back to the other levels.
I guide you. Please stay fully conscious of yourself. Walk with me into the brighter, light-filled areas. Feel the warmth, the light, the guardianship, love, yes, and joy.
Yes.
The joy, Sylvia.
That's no comparison. It's the complete opposite of what we've just experienced. Here is breadth, here is love, here is warmth, and there is total narrowness and coldness and rigidity. Insanity. That the source even allows such a state, that surprises me a bit.
I keep finding that you, Sylvia, can ask strange questions too. All right then. All of this is part of the expressions of all energies in the cosmos. All energies, Sylvia. And this subject is now part of being. Just as you humans can hurt yourselves, souls can also get hurt, lose energy, and those energy parts, as they never get lost, they remain with their consciousness on the less luminous levels until they are brought back together. And as you experience in life, not everything is full of love.
Yes, unfortunately. But this plane was really very uncomfortably intense, and I now have to bathe myself in the light and love again. Also, to forget that in a certain way. Visiting this level does leave an impression. I agree with you on that. On one hand, it stretches my consciousness. At the same time, it's a homework for me. The others, yes, I'd be glad to help. but I can't really influence or help there. That's really hard. I really don't have any answers to that yet.
Stay in your resonance and follow your impulses, then nothing can happen to you.
Yeah, you said that was now the lowest level of the dimly lit area. And then you also talked about other areas with low light. What are they now? Subtitles by Stephanie Geiges.
If we look further down, we find the unconditional darkness there.
Oh, does that really exist? That surprises me a bit. Why do I feel so sad right now?
Because I myself sometimes feel despair about this topic. Despair. Or better say, fainting. I would love to fill these areas with light and love, but it's not possible.
Isn't that allowed or isn't that possible?
It's not possible. I can only travel there with my consciousness, not with my soul. And that's why I can't influence there. No one can do that unasked, as you know.
And does that make you despair?
Yes. But it's very similar for me, especially in these very deep, dark areas. There is no light at all there, and it's like at the cemetery of souls.
Wait, but it's not the cemetery of souls, as you've told me. There's no such thing.
Yes. Let's say it's the darkest, most lifeless, loveless, most unconscious area of the entire cosmos.
Oh my. I understand this certain sadness, but I always thought you were someone who taught me to accept things as they are. Kind of like that. Motto. There's left and there's right. There are the dark planes, there are the light planes, all without judgment. Why is there really something that hits you emotionally?
Because I could no longer detect any movement in these lower areas, and this created a realization in me. The realization that there is no longer any momentum in these energies. You mean no more momentum to grow? Wanting to grow, wanting to clean again, wanting to go home again? Nothing at all, absolutely nothing. But perhaps that's just your evaluation or your perception. You are a very sweet. But believe me, I've been monitoring these frequency ranges for a really long time, spoken in your timeline, and I actually see no movement at all.
Let's please go deeper on this topic another time. I can't speak for so long here after this experience. So please let's next get into that. I want to explore these other levels with you, with my consciousness, and see what I perceive, okay?
Sure, that's a very nice approach, Sylvia.
Would you like to say something about this lower level, where we just were in that area?
There is nothing more to say.
Okay, then I sincerely thank you for this again very exciting, informative session. Thank you, love. Thank you, love.
Thank you, Sylvia. Love